And what's your opinion in terms of when maybe you start to look to focus on these in terms of age? Um, or when would you start to introduce these in terms of a younger child? So I get a lot of coaches or parents and say, "Oh, my child's too young to do S&C or fundamental or athletic development training, or they shouldn't be lifting weights at this stage." So, what are your thoughts in terms of when maybe start to introduce this in terms of a child's development?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one because it comes down to really how people conceptualize strength and conditioning or athletic development. I'm going to lean on Roger Lloyd here, who literally wrote the book on this, strength and conditioning for youth athletes. And he basically says if you're old enough to play the sport, then you're old enough to prepare to play the sport, right? That makes sense. Why are we chucking kids in unprepared? I think it comes down to what people think of when they hear the word strength and conditioning. And you used a really interesting term there. You said lifting weights. So people think lifting weights is S&C and like variations of that isn't. But actually, all we're doing when we're lifting weights is increasing the influence of gravity, right? Now, gravity is around us all the time. Babies are experiencing gravity as soon as they're out of the womb. When they're crawling, when they're trying to stand up. No one says, "Whoa, don't have that baby stand up. There's too much gravity." That would be ridiculous, right? So a good coach understands that we're just accentuating certain aspects, and it's just how we show that to the athlete. So, for example, taking an 8-year-old kid into the gym and taking them through a very structured strength and conditioning program would be stupid because that's not where they're at mentally and it's not appropriate for that age group. However, there are a number of incredibly inventive and very appropriate training programs that exist for that age group. So I'll give you two examples. One is the Superheroes program by Strength Lab, Simon Brundish, a friend of mine, UKSCA award-winning coach. The entire program is built around pretending to be Spider-Man, Superman, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. What my friend Howard Green would say is chocolate-covered broccoli. Yeah, they don't know they're doing it. They're just being Spider-Man and Hulk and Thor. But they're practicing lunging, they're practicing pushing, they're practicing pulling. Kids climbing trees is strength and conditioning, right? Kids hanging off monkey bars is strength and conditioning. Just because you put a label on it doesn't mean it's not happening. Like you're getting stronger, you're practicing movement, etc. So 30 or 40 years ago, we probably would have said kids didn't need it because they did a lot of that stuff already, but they don't do that stuff anymore. And so having specific interventions is useful. So Superheroes is one. The second one is a really great article out there called Developing Athletic Motor Skill Competency in Youth Athletes, something like that, by John Randa from Cardiff Met. In there, they have the A to Z of animal shapes where they literally come up with an animal crawl or hop or whatever for every letter of the alphabet.